that can really cover from blues to country to even jazz. I can get a great kind of hollow body tone with this. I put on the neck pickup and roll the tone all the way off. Yeah. Sounds beautiful. I mean, I'm pretty amazed myself, you know. So it's anyway. So yeah, it's just it is. It's just it's a good thing to have a signature guitar that you actually use all the time. Yeah.
That's the one portion of it, and being that basically the guitar is one part of the sound. Yeah. If you change the guitar end, what do? You try to come back to that guitar sound that you were used to. Come back to your sound.
I think that any player that's been playing as long as I have, and like a lot of people, their ear is going to help them no matter what guitar, what amp. I mean, most great players, they're going to sound. They have no. They can only sound like themselves. Yeah. You know, Oz was talking about that yesterday when he heard Eric Johnson play through somebody else's guitar through a little, Fender. Yeah. It still had the same tone. Yeah. It was the same tone because his ear and his ability is going to guide him to just try to make it work to what he wants to hear.
Right. He's going to turn that back to his sound.
And somehow it's going to come out sound. And I feel the same way that, you just tweak a couple knobs, okay, and just do the best you can, but. So much of the tone is coming from the player, not only the fingers and the physicality, but their ear. You know what their idea is of the great tone or what they're wanting to hear. That all flows through. It's quite a process. I mean, the gear helps, no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, it's the years of listening and the years of playing, and knowing how to do it, how to get it out of the gear.
Yeah. It's a matter of personality as well, which you transport through what you play and how you play.
Hopefully so, yeah.
I mean, I recognize you within the jam scenario where you're playing. So, okay, follow that one up. That's the best compliment I can have.
That's the best anybody could give you, that you've got something that's identifiable, something that's you. That's beautiful, man. There's a lot of great players that don't necessarily have that. You know what I mean? No, I mean, I'm not trying to make some crazy statement, but there's lots of players that have abilities and chops, but it's the special ones. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to hear. Well, who are they? Yeah. They can play all these different styles and imitate all these different guys, which is it always blows my mind because I admire.
Like Greg Koch, he can change from 1 second to the next and have multiple identities.
It's beautiful. Yeah, but he has a thing for sure. But there are guys, you know what I'm saying, that maybe they spend so much time trying to be these other people and we all start that way. For me it was from the Beatles to Ace Frehley to Steve Lukather to Mike Stern to Eric and all these guys. But hopefully it comes together and is my own thing. It's hard for me to recognize, but people would start telling me, years ago, oh yeah. But I was like, really? I do? Because sometimes you don't hear it. Sometimes you don't recognize it.
You mentioned the keyword we want to go to anyway, but it was Beatles.
Oh, yay!
The last one. Yeah. Congratulations to being able to make me being fooled and think that it's more than one guitar.
Wow, yeah.
Because you integrated the playing of chords and melody.
Yeah.
We're able to lean into the theme a bit. And keep it going, but then do your own thing and your own identity on top of it.
Yeah, that was...
I really appreciate it, because it's really good work to have going, everything.
It took a long time to be able to really think that I was doing it well. Okay. And it took a lot of courage, and I at first wasn't thinking about making the record. I just wanted to see, because we were doing Strawberry Fields for a while live, and it always went over great. Okay. And the suggestion came up of, maybe you should try doing a whole set of Beatles. It was my friend in Italy, Riccardo Capelli. And I was like, I don't think I could pull that off. But it kind of was my challenge. Like, well, what if I did some other tunes? How would it go? And then I started working on Lucy in the Sky. That came next. And what about the whole Sgt. Pepper record? And it was really kind of a hobby, where I was just trying to see, just for my own personal happiness, to see if I could do this. And I worked on the arrangements on and, like I say, like a hobby, on and off for a couple of years, just trying to fine tune it. How can I present this tune just sitting by myself and not be missing anything? Yeah. And in the process, I never checked the record. I did it by memory. Okay. And I think why that worked so much better was that as you hear the way I hear music in my head, as the record plays through, you're focusing on one part at a time. It's like, oh, there's the vocal, oh, there's the guitar lick, oh, there's the strings, there's the chicken. How can I do that? And just present it in one linear fashion. Yeah. And I think, you know, I had quite a bit of experience playing, you know, jazz chord and melody stuff years ago, and so it kind of comes from that. I'm not playing like Joe Pass, but it's the same idea. It's how can I play that melody and support it the best I can, you know, and it's different. But with a distorted guitar tone, you're limited in the amount of voices you can have at one time because it can get a little bit clustery, and so sometimes it's just if you just have the root, you know. The melody and just the root together, a lot of times the melody's so strong that you don't need anything else. But I would just kind of add to it as I thought necessary and just see if I could pull off. And then, we just ended up in the studio. In fact, we were recording what's going to be our next, you know, Andy Timmons band record. And we had some extra time at the end of the session while we had our drummer Mitch in town. So, you know, well, what else have you got? And he knew I'd been working on the Beatles. I said, well, let's record those Beatle tracks. Oh, okay. And it was kind of spur of the moment. So we got all the drums in like 2 days. He was a big enough Beatles fan, so he knew the songs well enough. Yeah. And I did the arrangements, kind of thinking of how he would play Ringo's thing. And he's about the only drummer I know that can really, get that feel. Oh, what? It's such an overlooked genius that Ringo has. It's so overlooked. Those songs would not feel the same with any other drummer from the '60s. I mean, they're all great players, but he's so special. And it's the feel, it's the way things swing a little bit. There's joy to what he does. Yeah. And Mitch Marine has that same, he has that ability, but a modern sound. So it's definitely we didn't try to sound vintage with it. We just try to be us playing this music as lovingly and respectfully as possible. Yeah. There's some Beatle covers that I'm not necessarily that fond of if they try to get too clever with it or it doesn't even sound like the same song. I just wanted to be my memory of the record, presented in the best way I could. You know?
And parts of it, I find it really relaxing because it sort of, for me, has that veranda style.
Like
veranda style.
I don't know what that.
You pick a guitar, you walk outside, go on the porch.
Oh, I see.
Be completely relaxed with a glass of wine.
That's cool.
Listen to that.
Wow.
And that's exactly what it's transported in there.
Right on.
It keeps up good memories and gives you a spot
that's
to
just
fall
it,
into.
Especially people that are our age or older that grew up with that record. Yeah. I mean, that was the most fun for me, was giving it to my friends that I thought, okay, like, and Steve Lukather was the best.
Okay.
I gave him the record, and I would get an email every night, oh, hey, man, I'm going to check out your record, I haven't had time yet. And he was in Japan, maybe it was Toto or something. And then I started getting all these emails. he would check, he was so sweet about it, but he understood.
Exactly.
He knew every note what I meant to do, you know, what was the intention, and my older brothers, and so those people that grew up with that record, I think, understand it on a different level. But luckily, the casual listeners, I was pretty amazed when we released the record. I got all these emails to my website. You know, I'm not really a Beatles fan, but I like this record. Like, it was such a foreign concept to me. Yeah. How could you not be a Beatles fan? But then I realized I was born in 1963, so it's in my DNA. I can't avoid it. And if you didn't grow up with it, it's like anything else. Maybe it's not your cup of tea. Yeah. But I think a certain generation is like, it was everything. It was absolutely everything. And again, just to be able to present the material, and for people that I knew were big fans of that material, that related to it and liked it, it meant that was success to me, because I didn't do it to, it wasn't a calculated commercial. Let's do this cover song because it'll get on the radio. I didn't care.
Beatles always going to pay money.
No,
it's not that they wanted to do.
It's not that way at all. It was and the way the record business is now, they're making money from me. They're getting sales, but no, it was never about that. But just that gratification and that happiness that comes with somebody saying, "Yeah, man, I dug that." That's
You kind of reverse telling my story actually, because I never heard the original recording.
You didn't? Okay.
No, I didn't.
Oh, wow.
I didn't.
Well, see, that's it. Yeah.
I didn't. I heard your one first. I was like, oh man, that's really good. Like, I gotta really check it out.
Well, see, that's cool, because I always wonder about, okay, if somebody hasn't heard this record, is this going to be boring?
Not at all.
Because it's not like a shred guitar record. It's just I'm playing songs.
But that's exactly what he said. Like, I was actually listening to it while driving here. It's just like, it's just like got that mellow feeling to it.
Right on. It's just supposed to be 60s and chill, but rocking, when need be. I was really proud of how She's Leaving Home turned out.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that was always, for me, it was one of the Beatle tunes that was always very emotional for some reason. Mm-hmm. Well, the other stuff usually brought lots of joy, but that one could bring a tear, if you really tap into it. But I think that's because Paul was really affected by Brian Wilson. and he was getting into Brian Wilson's Pet Sounds kind of thing. And Brian's another guy as far as the level of emotion goes.
Yeah.
I've toyed with wanting to do some old Brian Wilson stuff, but we'll see. Maybe someday.
You're going to carry over the knowledge you picked up in rebuilding the Beatles stuff into your own material?
Well, that came from actually, before that record, the Resolution record is what kind of started me playing in that style.
Okay.
Because the Resolution record was the first one I did without overdubs.
Okay.
So that was a one guitar performance record too. And so after that is what I started writing material in that vein, and then when I started toying with Beatles stuff, it was natural for me to do.
Okay.
And it was, the act of doing it in the process is quite easy for me, but then just getting it to where I'm happy and it feels right,
Yeah.